Alright, Dina,
Alright.
tell us what we're doing in this series and why we're doing it.
For the last 10 years or so, ever since I started blogging, anytime you see any positive media about Muslim women wearing headscarves, it's always with the narrative of breaking the stereotype, which is all good and everything, but how many years are we all going to be just breaking the stereotype, which kind of takes away from what they're actually doing and their actual skills, because these girls that we're meeting are just living their life. They're not doing whatever it is they're doing because they want to break the bloody stereotype.
In an ideal world, what would you hope some of your fans or people that watch the video would kind of take away?
Just to feel inspired that they can literally do whatever it is they want to do, and that wearing a headscarf or being a Muslim really shouldn't stop them.
So, we're at your yard.
Yeah, so I got my sister down, my twin sister, I got my brother here as well, and obviously we've got our husbands here, and I just thought it might be nice to have an open conversation, get everybody's feelings out about lots of things. Have a buttered bagel. Have one. Go on, Arabic hospitality, eat. Now, eat, you have to. It's actually rude if you don't take one. Sid, right, what do you think about me wearing a scarf?
Oh, straight in.
Yeah.
Flip the neck, okay, nice. I think people get it confused, they just think it's for women, but it's not, it's for men as well. You're not meant to attract the opposite sex.
What I know from men's hijab is that they should be not looking in the first place. It literally tells you to lower your gaze before it tells women to cover up.
When you say it, you're talking about the Quran.
I'm talking about just their religion. If we look at modesty as a whole, what do you think, TC?
My cousin told me she was in uni, she wanted a part-time job, and she was like, oh, I can't work in a lot of shops if I wear a scarf.
Yeah.
I didn't believe her. I said, that's a joke, obviously, because you can't get away with that stuff. So then she was like, okay, try it. So I went to and I was like, hey, I want a job here, I heard you're recruiting. And they were like, oh, okay, I can give you an application, but you can't apply if you're wearing a scarf. And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I was like, this is and he was like, yeah, well, it's just part of the rules. The manager you won't even get an interview because you're wearing a scarf. He was like, if you want the job, you could agree to take your scarf off when you go into work and then put it back on when you leave. We just came back from Palestine. We were walking around the old city and you couldn't tell the difference half the time because Jewish women, Christian women and Muslim women were all dressed in exactly the same head coverings, long skirts, the religious ones, they're all dressed exactly the same. Where Prophet Ibrahim is buried, it was in a mosque and they split it, it's half synagogue, half mosque, and his tomb is actually, there's a window for the mosque to look in and a window for the synagogue because they both worship the same God and they both believe in the same prophet, so it's literally exactly the same, but it's split because they're you're praying in the same place to the same God, but it's split.
Harry, how did you become a Muslim and when?
We were up really late, debating all the time about the origins of the universe and is there a creator? If there is, how can there be one? And I had a little tick list in my head, so it became kind of fun because we would often just talk about it every week. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'll go to Sid and we'll have this little debate. It just went from there, sort of started to connect dots and make sense.
It's different nowadays for men, I reckon. So you have the which you're not allowed to show. You have your aura, which is the knees to the navel. Some people would say, oh yeah, it's okay for you, Sid, to dress the way you are. But I know in my head, it's not acceptable Islamically for me to dress like this.
Skinny jeans.
Why?
It's not, because I'm attracting.
You're trying to say you look sexy?
Yes, you know what I mean? Right? The purpose is not to attract the opposite sex. That is the purpose of hijab.
I don't believe the hijab is there not to attract the opposite sex. It's there to protect you from certain situations, but it's also there as identity.
What is it protecting you from?
To look visibly like a Muslim. So for example...
What's it protecting you from?
So for example, because I'm in hijab, I don't go to certain social situations. I won't go to a club at night where people are drinking and that. That is literally because I wear hijab.
Why?
That's probably one of the things.
It's not about because I'm not going to be allowed in, it's because it's just not an appropriate setting for me.
For example, a guy in work said to me, oh, how long is your hair? The other day, he said, oh, how long is your hair? And I was like, I don't know, I can't even remember. And he was like, because I don't wear it down. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, let me see it then, I've known you for about 2 years, let me see your hair. And I was like...
You said that?
Way! way.
Right,
said that,
it
tell
happens
me.
all the time, by the way. So I was like, mate, there's loads of parts of you that I haven't seen. Do I ask you to see them because I've known you for 2 years?
Did you say that to him?
Yeah. And he just laughed. He just laughed. He was like, ugh.
Yeah, because it's such a dumb
Because I was like, what, do I go and say, oh mate, I haven't seen your armpit, let me see it, I haven't seen it for I've known you for 2 years, I haven't seen it.
I'm very back and forth sometimes. I'm like, well, just you can wear what you want. If you want to take your scarf off, that's your choice.
Obviously you can wear what you want.
Well, no, because you say, oh, I'm doing
Why did you do that?
No, that's not.
By the way!
Look, oh my god!
Yeah, but wait.
I've never disagreed.
Why is that a problem? Why can we just get to that? Can we just get to that? Can we just?
So we clearly all have different opinions and that, but you know, end of the day, guys, we're all Muslims and we've managed to live together for the last 4 years, and you two since April. This is just like a prime example, isn't it, of like Muslims arguing with each other, and it's all down to interpretation at the end of the day. On that note, what advice, Yusuf, would you give to a young Muslim girl growing up in the UK now?
Don't feel restricted by the religion. Don't look at it as something you have to follow, but like guidelines, as we were saying earlier.
I would read yourself, question everything. It's not wrong to question anything in the religion. You're allowed to ask questions. Anything you see in the Quran you don't feel is right, you question it. I'm the same. Like I was like, why can't we eat pork? So I researched into it and I found out the reasons that you can't eat pork is because they're made up in such a similar way to humans that we can basically absorb fats from them easier. We can absorb this worm or like parasites from them that we wouldn't be able to absorb from other animals because our intestines are made in such a similar way. Also, they're one of the cleverest animals. They're not dirty. They look dirty because they don't have sweat glands. So to keep themselves cool, they have to roll around in the mud. So actually, they're great. There's nothing wrong or dirty about them. We can't eat them for health reasons. Yeah. And that's just to protect us. It's not because they're wrong. Whereas most Muslims, they won't even let their kids watch Peppa Pig because they think pigs are like the devil because it says don't eat pork. Which is ridiculous.
So is that kind of a normal thing in your household?
Yeah, that's a really normal thing. Like when we all get together, we all have these debates. And did you see like Tusi and Perry? The way they were going at each other, that's so normal. Even me and Sid, the way we were going at each other. We always disagree with things. And I think at the end, me and Tusi just like are so exhausted by it. We're just like, you know what, these men are never going to see our point of view, so might as well give up. But then they probably feel the same.
Do you ever think it's like that's a problem that there are so many different opinions in ultimately the same faith, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, so for me, it's just a prime example of what goes on in my comment section with all the arguments from all the Muslim viewers about how I dress or about whatever it is I could be doing in my videos, but everybody arguing with each other are all Muslims and they all, at the end of the day, believe in the same thing.
What do you think is the best way of changing kind of opinions?
Just being more open to things. For example, like some of these girls that we're going to go see, literally a few years ago I would have been like, well, that's not right what she's doing with a hijab on because that's totally not modest, or like how is she doing that with a hijab? But now I'm just like, well, why not? Literally, what is so wrong that she's doing, literally? So if I can start opening my mind to it and being more accepting of what people want to do, then why can't everyone else?
Right, Dina.
All right.
How's it going?
Wicked. We've come to Stoke-on-Trent to meet Dalia, who is a powerlifter, and she's a Muslim one, in a hijab at that, so I find that fascinating. I've actually met Dalia, I think, twice before. She's a friend of a friend's, and she's really cool. A lot of the reason us ladies, Muslim ladies, don't go to the gyms because they don't know what the hell to wear. Because you want to be comfortable, you want to work out, but you want to be modest. Do you get me? So f***ing intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
Even for you, Giles, isn't it? Look, you should show Giles on camera. Even for Giles, that is intimidating. He is a regular white man. So just tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm 25. I'm half Lebanese and half Syrian. My dad's from Lebanon and I was born in the UK. I'm a British Muslim.
How did you get into powerlifting? I still don't even know.
So while I was at uni, I made a New Year's resolution, 2011.
Oh my God, you're a New Year's resolution person.
I'm a New Year's resolutioner. I'm a January gym joiner. A friend of mine told me that they were starting weightlifting classes at the gym. We had like a coach who was a former Iranian Olympic lifter. That coach really inspired me as well, because he was like, wow, you're like a Muslim female with hijab and you're going to be like lifting and weightlifting and going to be doing competitions. He really pushed me into doing competitions as well. So he's like really behind me. My mum's a very strong woman. She always gave me like a lot of responsibility from a young age. She kind of built up my character.
Yeah.
So
basically,
like,
from the beginning, you don't take shit from nobody.
Yeah, you can't compare yourself to men because their anatomy is completely different, and like I'll never ever be like a man, like in my physique or my strength or anything. Yeah. And there was no females to compare myself to, so it was good.
So you were like the boss of.
I was setting the benchmark, really.
Yeah.
When I first started in powerlifting, they didn't even have a rule what a modest outfit would be for lifting, because there's a lot of regulations around what you can and can't wear. I got in touch with them and emailed them, and they said like it's fine as long as you like wear the rest of the kit kind of like over the top of whatever you want to wear underneath. When you're like doing these competitions, it's all about how much you can lift. Yeah. No one cares about what you look like, you know, what makeup you're wearing, what makeup you're not wearing. Yeah. Like, it's just like, here's the weight, can you lift it? And
that's
if you
so
can,
good.
then that's bloody good.
So a lot of people will be like, what's the point if you've got to cover up your body anyway?
Well, that is the very point. Like, why? Why do you need to be on display? Let people wonder what's underneath. Like
it's more mysterious.
Exactly. I think we're in an age where it's really easy to take your clothes off if you want to. It's way too easy.
It's the easier thing to do, maybe.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I want popularity. Oh, it'll show a bit of skin.
It's only fair. He's making me do it. It's only fair he does it as well. This guy over here, Joel, probably never encountered a Muslim lady in hijab before.
Oh, really?
Hugged me on greeting. It's the most awkward thing ever, because I had to comply, not to be rude. I had to say, all right, go.
Like, wearing a headscarf is not easy. No. It's
It's lovely, but it's bloody hot.
Everyone will know.
Yeah.
And especially like in an area where there's not so many Muslims, like, you stand out for sure. Yeah. It was difficult, and I had like those moments where I was like, I don't want to wear it anymore and all this, And like, so I lost a lot of self-confidence. Yeah. And then I felt like the gym gave me that back, because I was like, well, and what if you're looking? Like, you know, can you go and bench 60 kilos at the gym?
Yeah, like when we were at the gym, you literally are like in your element. You've had a really positive experience, like on this powerlifting journey so far.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. I guess there's one incident which
Tell me.
I happened to qualify for an international competition. I was just about to go out and do my first squat attempt, because you start with the squats. One of the kind of presidents of the federation like marches over and is like, you can't lift. And I was like, what? I said, like, I don't wear this for fun, like this is a religious thing. Yeah. And he was like, no, I won't have it. Literally, I like burst into tears.
Did you?
Yeah, because I was like on my last nerve. Everyone who was there, who was also lifting or not lifting or supporting, they were like so supportive. The man in question did come over and apologise afterwards. He said he didn't realise it was for a religious...
Like, imagine even if it wasn't for religious reasons, like what's the big deal if you're more covered anyway?
I did go on to break the deadlift world record.
Really?
For my age and weight. So
that's
I was
sick.
like, if anything, that is my win.
Should we have an arm wrestle?
Oh my God.
Are you going to kill me off?
For my credibility,
Can you just help me out here and just make me look good?
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. You're doing nothing, aren't you? You're literally doing nothing, aren't you? You're literally doing nothing, aren't you? And I'm putting my all in right here.
I'm just pushing you back.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, kill me off. Just kill me off. Oh. I stopped doing sports and stuff when I was young
Yeah.
because I put the scarf on and I felt like I looked like an idiot.
Really?
I just felt stupid, man. But I felt like if you look cool in your gear and stuff,
Yeah.
then you already, because let's face it, if you look good, you feel good and then you're confident,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Fashion Week starts tomorrow. That is the fashion statement. Yo, I'm gonna buy one. What would you say to like any girls who might be like thinking about it, but just can't take that first step that you need to start? Do you know what I mean?
I'd just say, maybe if you feel intimidated, take a friend. You can have a laugh. At least like if you make a complete fool of yourself, you've got someone to laugh with.
Yeah, I only stepped into there today because I knew you were going to be there. I feel like just watching you is going to push a lot of girls to just start the gym.
I hope so.
Just the gym in general.
Yeah.
Like, never mind powerlifting for
Yeah,
now.
or a sport, like whatever.
Yeah, just
find
like start
something that you really, really enjoy. Like you might not find it first time, go to, like, and the great thing is you get to meet people.
You know what? I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's been really good to watch you and hear like a really positive experience, especially with something like that. It's so different. Thanks, Dahlia.
Thank you.
So what do you think of Dahlia?
Dahlia has a very, very positive experience and very positive story. And it's nice to hear that. She's very headstrong, you know what I mean? She has a very positive outlook on life, even if she experiences something quite negative. I think if you're generally positive, you overlook a lot of the negative things that might happen to you because you just generally don't have time for in your life.
High five.
That's haram. You know what haram means?
Haram.
Haram means forbidden.
High fives.
I'm not allowed to touch a man, innit? Come on, Giles, what were we talking about earlier?
I went 5 minutes time.
Yeah, it's a joke, relax. I'm really confusing these white men.
How's it going?
You always start out. You really want to know? I'm knackered.
Did you have a good journey over here though?
Yeah, it was alright, because Joel was keeping me
Where are
entertained
we
for
then?
2 hours. Oh yeah, guys, we're in Berlin. We're going to meet Emmy. She's like a bloody, really well-known Berlin hip-hop dancer who's won billions of competitions, and now she teaches dance. And that is crazy and so exciting.
So you're gonna have a go at the dancing?
Yeah, but I'm probably gonna be a bit awkward because like growing up, I was always told like don't dance in front of people because like that's immodest. Yeah, this is why I told you this girl's cool because she's doing something different. So I want to see her perspective.
Cool, let's go and meet her.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Giles.
Guys.
Shall I knock? Shall I just walk in? Oh, hi! How are you? Oh, should we hug over the counter?
So this is my dance school.
Perfect for selfies.
Here everything is happening.
By the way, just so you know, I can't dance. Just for your information.
Everybody can dance. I'm the first hijabi teacher in Europe.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Yeah. So let me show you first
Yeah.
kind of hip hop music.
Okay, yeah.
So you can get the feeling how you can vibe to the music. I start with music like this, like really groovy.
I don't want to get too like. When was the last time you had a battle then?
The last time was 1 week ago before I decided to wear my hijab.
So when you wore your hijab, did you decide to stop
Yeah,
because of wearing the hijab?
yeah.
Why?
Because for me it doesn't make sense because my style is really,
Provocative.
yeah. So when I dance against a man, I was acting like so.
You were in his face.
You know? Yeah, yeah. And I think it doesn't make sense. If you have hijab, you want to cover up some. For me, it's more harder to talk about my faith and my hijab in our own community, as if you talk with a non-Muslim.
Yeah, man. So many people say to me, "Well, you're so haram, Dina. You are haram, literally. Dina, you as a person is haram."
What kind of religion they are practicing?
Yeah.
So I don't think that our prophet was like this. You are right, you're wrong, and I'm the best and you are wrong, you know?
No way. You lived most of your life without wearing the hijab, and then you wore it. So have you noticed like a change?
I start wearing hijab and I just go to the train and I swear by God, the people stand up and sit on the next.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, I was a hairdresser before. My boss, he was like, "Oh, you want to wear a hijab, but you can't work here." And he's like, "Yeah, you know, it's nothing to your person.
It's nothing personal,
but you know, in the media and stuff, and the people are scared of." And imagine he's a Muslim too.
He's a Muslim too?
Yeah.
No way!
Yeah.
I feel like a proper white girl trying to dance. I never would have thought that you could ever do this and be in hijab. I know it sounds really typical, but you're like breaking stereotypes. How do you feel like when people say that?
For me, it's this was always a goal, with or without hijab, to being a role model. Because in my youth, I had nobody where I watch, like, okay, I want to be like her. It was always men.
Yeah.
Because a girl or a woman is always like, "Oh, honey, yeah, no, it's so bad. Oh, yeah, you're so right," you know?
Yeah.
And I want to break this type of women, because women can also sit and I can talk to you, and after 5 minutes you can feel like, yeah, she's right. I can do much more with myself.
You don't need validation from a man.
Perfect.
That's what it is.
Yeah, perfect. Always people talk to me like, "Hey, you are a Turkish girl, you know, dancing."
It doesn't fit with Turkish girls. I
Because
understand.
They're like, you for our culture, you know, you will never find a man if you act like this. And I'm like, I'm not dancing for a man.
Yeah.
You know,
You're not living for a man.
Yeah.
So the young girls are literally growing up to think, I need to find a husband. Otherwise, what am I going to do in life?
Yeah.
Which is,
definitely.
It should be taught the opposite. It should be taught, what do you want to do? The husband can come later, like.
I mean, if you grow as a person, as a really strong woman, the perfect man will come.
What advice would you give to like your younger sister, especially growing up as a young Muslim?
If you really think deeply about what I'm saying now, be yourself. Don't live for somebody else. Just go your way. Even you fall down like 100 times. One day you will find the light for yourself.
Thanks for inviting me to your studio.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So how do you feel after talking to Emmy?
I feel like I'm considering a different outlook on life. Like literally, as soon as we met Emmy, we were like, all of us, we were like, wow, she is so cool. And all of a sudden, even though I was knackered from the morning, but as soon as I met her, I was just like, oh, all this energy all of a sudden, and like, yay, raring to go. I think she's actually too cool for me, literally. So one more person to meet, and this is the one that actually I've been looking forward to the most.
Nice. Cool. Let's get on with it then.
Yeah, let's go. Come on, Giles.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
Are we going like right now? Because I'm going home now.
I need the mic.
Oh yeah. We're in Bradford to meet Sophia, who works on the Muslim Women in Prisons project, where she helps them before they're released kind of integrate back into community, just loads of all these issues basically that we're going to learn about. Because I always thought I like to talk about women's issues, but then when I came across Sophia, I was like, oh, I never actually even once considered Muslim women in prison, the kind of like different needs that they'd have and the experiences they'd have because they're Muslim and from like community backgrounds.
It's just a bit different from some of the other girls, right?
Well, like completely different. I mean, if you're going to talk about the obvious thing, she doesn't wear hijab. She's doing work that is really needed and really overlooked.
Yeah, it should be an
So, yeah, she'll be really interesting, Giles, yeah.
Cool, right, let's go.
Yeah, it's raining. Should we go in?
Yeah.
Oh, here's me thinking I could just barge in. Good, alhamdulillah, how are you?
Nice to meet you. The Khidmat Centre is a care centre. It offers services for people of all ages really. So we have elderly people accessing this. We have a learning disability group on site, young people, and this is where I work with some of the offenders from my project, Muslim Women in Prison. I'm a community development worker. I've worked with communities for over 10 years, and I'm most known for doing the first research into Muslim women in prison, just looking at the reasons why Muslim women go to prison, some of the challenges they face when they're there, and post-release as well. I went on to set up a rehabilitation programme for Muslim women in several prisons in the UK, and I think a lot of what I do is determined by my Islamic values.
In the report, it said just briefly, like some of the offenders might be covering up for a male.
The only link that we saw in these offenders, so the first thing everyone asks is, what have they done?
Yeah.
And across the board, the only connection we saw was there was links to wider family crimes. And there's this thing about, you know, if a woman sometimes takes the blame, it's less time, or it's a first-time offender, and it's very unfortunate because that contradicts everything faith tells us. I've always done gender equality work, so for a long time I remember setting up a youth club. Some of the people in that community really thought that, you know, at the end of the high school education, we'd really like for our daughters to maybe get married and settle down and have children. And some of that was to do with, I guess, their backgrounds and their mindset that they'd brought over from South Asia. But I thought it was really important to engage young women in recreation and talk freely about their ideas, about life, and look at their own aspirations and what they were, and to encourage that type of free thinking. And the other thing that came up was the fact that some of these women, like all women in prison, have suffered very difficult issues in the background, so issues that we as a community are maybe not too comfortable speaking about, like, you know, domestic abuse, sexual abuse. There's issues of forced marriage, mental health. Essentially, Muslim women are a minority within a minority.
Yeah. In my experience, whenever I try to talk to like communities about those issues, nobody wants to know about it because I don't know, maybe it's like just being scared.
If a woman is a victim of domestic violence or some sort of sexual abuse, how openly can she go to a place in her community and say, look, I need to disclose this and I need help?
Yeah.
How open are we as a community to that? Because that could eventually prevent a lot of other things happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when you look at the journey of women in the criminal justice system, you find that there's a lot of hardship and a lot of baggage behind them.
Yeah.
Is there a chocolate finger missing?
There is, I ate it. Sorry, I didn't want my stomach to rumble. Can you get us another chocolate finger and pop it in there?
No, it's fine.
Well, what are your views on modesty, hijab? You know, there's a lot of outer piety in communities, and, you know, just talk to me a little bit about that.
I think with hijab, first and foremost, you know, Islamically we're told hijab is hijab of the heart, and that reflects in your values, your modesties, your interaction with people. But sometimes I find in communities that it's the other way around, and it's more of an emphasis on outer hijab.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that if you are covering up to a certain extent, you just, you know, you're probably the greatest Muslim of all, and, you know, you're the symbol of perfection. You can't make any mistakes, and you're, you know, you're the pinnacle of what we must aspire for. Yeah. But for me, it's more about your motivation. It's more about your connectivity to people, your interactions. So unfortunately, I think in this day and age, there is more of an emphasis on outer piety.
What advice would you give to those young girls who might feel that pressure, but they have so many things that they actually want to do?
Stay committed, stay focused, be true to your morals, be true to your position, and don't be afraid. It takes a certain type of boldness to actually challenge that, and even if that means really sensitive conversations with your parents and trying to give your perspective and background, I'd always say that there's always other women out there that are doing amazing things.
It's been really, really interesting talking to you. Oh, and lovely, of course. Thanks for having me.
It's lovely to have you in Bradford, actually.
Assalamu alaikum, love.
So, what do you think of Sophia?
She is like the only person who's actually addressing this. Before I even heard of her, I didn't even think Muslim women in prison. I'm really inspired to kind of like be a bit more active, you know what I mean? Because I have a lot of views in favour of women, but am I really doing anything? I need to like meet people and branch out and learn about things. I need to learn about things. I don't know, Giles.
Go and see the world, man.
I literally don't know anything.
Let's go find the world.
Like you guys were really name dropping and I was like, who's that? Oh, it turns out he's a bloody MP. What the I don't even know who this MP is.
Dina, how's it going?
Not bad.
Cool. Pretty hectic few days of shooting, right?
Yeah, but we've had a break now, haven't we, Giles?
Yeah, we have had a bit of a break. Have you enjoyed it though?
Yeah, I have really enjoyed it. It's been great.
The conversation between you and your family was pretty interesting. There seemed like there was a bit of a divide between the girls and the boys in the room. Is that quite a common thing?
Yeah, if you can call it a conversation, it's more like a bloody argument. Like in terms of our family, whenever we have these debates or these conversations, we're always arguing or in disagreement with each other, especially when there's boys involved.
I'm very back and forth sometimes. I'm like, well, just you can wear what you want. If you want to take your scarf off, that's your choice.
So you can wear what you want.
Well, no, because you say, oh, I'm doing
Why
what
is he
the
giving
choice.
you that?
No, that's not.
I don't have to decide you can wear what you want.
Woo,
lucky to see you.
No, I'm trying to say it's not one thing.
What do you think interests you most about each of them?
They all found more support in those communities rather than in their, rather than at home with their Muslim community. That was like the theme. I really liked Delia because she was in a really, really obviously male-dominated environment, and she was walking around like she owns the place, and it was just so good to see that. Like when I first walked in there, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go in there, and then Delia just took me under her wing, and I was like, yes, I feel like I should be here, you know? Like, they see you guys are always comfortable because there's billions of you walking around here. That's why you're always like, yeah, I can go in there, I can do that, whatever, because they all look like you. Do you get me? But like when you look a bit different or you do things a bit differently, it's quite scary. It can be scary. I loved Emmy because before I even saw what she was doing and that, she was just so like warm and inviting. She's very open-minded.
Yeah.
And she said herself she got that from the dance world. Like the dance world taught her how to be open-minded and accepting of others. Yeah, not the Muslim community, which is what it should be doing. What I really loved about Sophia was that I just really loved the work she's doing, man. I found it fascinating. And it just highlighted how much Muslim women are needed in these industries as well.
So what, if anything else, in terms of advice, do you want to add? We've had a lot.
I would read yourself, question everything. It's not wrong to question anything in the religion. You're allowed to ask questions. Anything you see in the Quran you don't feel is right, you question it.
I'd just say, maybe if you feel intimidated, take a friend.
Be yourself. Don't live for somebody else.
Stay committed, stay focused, be true to your morals, be true to your position, asking for support, asking for encouragement. And you know, not many women that have been down that path themselves will close the door on you. Yeah. They're always ready to give advice.
If I was talking to young Hannah, I would say, listen girl, don't take shit from anyone. That's what I would say.
Are you as emotional about this as we are, about this coming to an end?
If anything, I feel like the two people behind the camera have learnt so much, guys. So if nobody else gets this whole series, you know what? We've changed the perspectives of two white men. And that is amazing in itself.